produce supply. Premier Li Keqiang put forward a specific requirement of promoting agricultural development and ensuring food security. Today, we have a press conference on the agriculture perspective to focus on the assurance of agricultural produce. We have with us Inspector Chen Ping from the Market and Information Department, DDG Liu Lihua from the Farming Department, and DDG Wei Hongyang from the Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Department, DDG Wang Jiayun from the Agricultural Machinery Department from Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs, to take questions on the agriculture perspectives. Now, some updates on the pandemic. In the 24 hours of April the 18th, according to reports from provinces, cities, Xinjiang Production Construction Corp, new confirmed cases 16. 9 out of the 16 were imported cases, 7 in Shanghai, 2 in Jilin. 7 were domestic cases, including 6 in Heilongjiang Province and 1 in Guangdong Province. There was no new death. New suspected cases 2, including 1 imported suspected cases and 1 domestic cases in Inner Mongolia. On the day, newly cured and discharged from hospitals 33. 1,073 close contacts were removed from medical observation. For the imported cases, now there are 847 confirmed imported cases, including 47 severe cases, remaining suspected cases 44. Cumulatively confirmed cases 1,575. Cumulatively cured and discharged from hospitals 728. There was no new death. As of 24 o'clock, April the 18th, according to reports from provinces, cities, and the Xinjiang Production Construction Corp, remaining confirmed cases 1,041, including 85 severe cases. Cumulatively cured and discharged from hospitals 77,062. Cumulative deaths 4,632. Cumulatively reported confirmed cases 82,735. Remaining suspected cases 48. Cumulatively traced close contacts 724,850. Close contacts that remained under medical observation 8,632. In Hebei Province, there was no new confirmed case, no new or remaining suspected cases, and no new death. Newly cured and discharged from hospitals 13. Remaining confirmed cases 109, including 22 severe cases. All were Wuhan cases. Cumulatively cured and discharged from hospitals 63,507, including 46,355 from Wuhan. Cumulative deaths 4,512, including 3,869 in Wuhan. Cumulatively confirmed cases 68,128, including 50,333 in Wuhan. According to reports from provinces, cities, and Xinjiang Production and Construction Corp, new asymptomatic infections 44, including 3 imported asymptomatic infections. On the day, there was none transferred to the category of confirmed cases. On the day, 62 were removed from medical observation, including 8 imported asymptomatic infections. And those remain under medical observation 999, including 186 imported asymptomatic infections. From Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, cumulatively reported confirmed cases 1,466, including 1,023 in the Hong Kong SAR, 345 in the Macau SAR, and 398 in the Taiwan region. On April the 18th, new imported confirmed cases were reduced to below 10 for the first time during the past month. However, domestic cluster cases triggered by imported cases in certain provinces have been on the increase. We need to make continued efforts in the closed-loop management and stop any community transmission. This has been the updates on the pandemic. Now we'd like to take questions from the floor. Please ask questions on today's topic, and please identify yourself before you ask the questions. Journalist from the first row on the right side, please. With the CCTV impacted by COVID-19, what has been the first quarter agricultural market? What is the forecast by Ministry of Agriculture, and what will be the measures adopted by Ministry of Agriculture to ensure the supply of agricultural produce? Inspector Chen Ping will take the question. Thank you for your question. On a quarterly basis, our department and our ministry will give a regular press conference on the market information and address key issues. I'd also like to take today's opportunity to share with our friends of the media the agriculture market in the first quarter impacted by COVID-19. There has been the disruption to the supply. However, because of the overall abundant supply, the market has remained stable. Recently, as the prevention control is towards the positive, there has been stable decrease of agricultural produce. The wholesale indicator in March have seen a decrease of 6.83 percentage points compared with that of the previous month, and was basically similar with that of January. For pork price at the end of March, 46.28 RMB per kilo. Lamb, beef, and poultry and eggs and dairy have been kept at a low level compared with that of the previous year. The aquatic products price have also been decreasing. The grain inventory has been abundant. The pork production is coming back. Vegetables are coming to the market in greater quantity. The market is expected to be kept stable. Down the road, we will focus on the grain produce and pork produce. We will enhance the market surveillance and pre-alarming so as to ensure the supply of agricultural produce. I'd also like to take the opportunity to give you a piece of information. Tomorrow morning, the annual China Agricultural Outlook Conference will be convened by online video conference, on which we will put forward our predictions in the next 5 years or even a decade. We welcome your participation in the online conference. Next question, journalist from the first row on the left side, please. Thank you. With Hong Kong Economic Herald, since the outbreak of COVID-19, the global grain supply has called worldwide attention. What has been the grain production in China? Can we ensure stable supply this year? I'd like to ask DDG Liu Lihua to take the question.
Thank you for your interest in the food production in China. Indeed, affected by COVID-19, the food security has become a hot topic, and in the previous press conference, my ministry made a response to the relevant question, and at the moment, the supply is adequate. This year is quite special, and the central government has adopted a series of policy measures to ensure the adequate supply of food products. The policy measures have been strong and effective. The localities have also implemented the policies to make a good start with the grain production. In terms of the summer grain production, we can see that there's a sound momentum in southeast and also southwest of China, and also we are going to have a promising future for the grain production. Also, because of the grain diseases which are going on, like the strip rust, the relevant agencies have already adopted countermeasures. In terms of the spring sowing, this year's spring sowing has doubled the acreage than that of last year, and also for the early rice sowing and plowing, we have the sound trend that we can stop the previous 7 years drop in the acreage. And in terms of the speed, we had 1 percentage point faster than that of last year. And for the early rice seedling, there's 5 percentage points faster than that of last year. And today is the green rain solar term, and following the agricultural scheduling after this solar term, we're going to see the rapid development of spring sowing, and we will make every effort to ensure the targets of this year can be achieved, and we can have a good harvest this year. We are confident that by earnest measures we can realize these objectives and targets. Thank you. On the left, on the second row, the first gentleman reporter, please. Thank you. With Farmers Daily, in the backdrop of COVID-19, the use of machineries has become more important. How about this year's machine-facilitated plowing? We will have DG Wang to take the question. Thank you very much for your question. In the light of this year's unique situation, the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs has given a more important role to play by the machinery in agriculture. We have made sound coordination to transfer the agricultural machines and made every effort to ensure the spring plowing will not be gravely affected by the COVID-19. For this year, we can find 4 major features. The first one is that we have the online preparation for sowing and plowing. We have set up the online service platforms and provided the online trainings and supports with information technology like the mobile apps. Farmers can get access to the online technical services, and their agricultural activities will not be affected by the COVID-19. Second, the coordination among the rural cooperatives. Indeed, the majority of the rural cooperatives have been well mobilized to strengthen the technical services to the farmers. In many localities, new approaches like the DD agricultural machinery were adopted to facilitate the spring plowing. For smallholder farmers, such practice is convenient and cost-effective. The rural cooperatives altogether have facilitated the plowing of 200 million mu of acreage. And the third is the use of artificial intelligence. Compared with last year, over more than 25% of the applications of artificial intelligence have been applied, and also we have witnessed another 15% increase in terms of the unmanned vehicle plowing. So these new approaches have facilitated spring plowing as well as the fight against COVID-19 in the rural areas. And fourthly, we have adopted the new agricultural machines for the agricultural activities. The green technologies have been promoted in this year's spring plowing. In North China, for example, 45,000 plowing machines would be used for corn plowing, and such conservative plowing practices has been promoted. And by doing so, we can have the strategic conservation of the arable land. In general, we will have 22 million sets of agricultural machines used for such plowing and conservative plowing, satisfying the needs while ensuring the high performance of plowing. In Hebei province, for example, a large number of such seedling machines have been utilized to ensure the needs of sound plowing. Okay, let's continue. On the left, the third row, the second lady reporter, please. Thank you. Hong Kong, China Review. We found that this year the action plan for conservative plowing in northeast China has been kicked off. Could you please share details about this plan? We will continue to have DG Wang to take the question. Thank you for your question. For many years, affected by the traditional plowing practices, which are disadvantages in terms of the land quality preservation, as the previous traditional practices would expose the land to various negative factors like land and soil erosion. This requests us to accelerate the transformation of the plowing practices. For the black earth in northeast China, we must practice the conservative plowing. International and domestic experience have proven that the conservative plowing practice can ensure the quality and the quantity of plowing. It's a sustainable farming practice. It does not need to have the rotation of the land and will not expose the earth to the various erosion factors. By doing so, we can increase the farming efficiency, reduce the use of fertilizers, and also contribute to environmental protection. The stalks are used to cover the land instead of to be burnt, which would pollute the environment and the air. So last year we had a 4-province survey and field study concerning the conservative plowing, and this year, based on the survey results, we kicked off the action plan. The aim is to utilize the efforts of both the government and the market to provide policy and technical guidance and promote such conservative plowing practices throughout northeast China. It is expected that by 2025, 140 million more of land can adopt such practice to curb the worsening of the land quality and ensure a solid basis for food security in China.
Thus, ensuring the sustainable agricultural development this year is the first year of this initiative. The central government has allocated 1.6 billion RMB to support the 4 northeastern provinces with a total coverage of 40 million mu. The fund from the central finance supports the cornfield, the restoration of land. Today is the green rain solar term. It will soon be the high time for the plantation of corns. On April the 17th, we've organized a video conference on the plantation in northeastern black soil region. The policy, advocacy, and the preparation for implementing the initiative has been in place. We are confident of realizing the 40 million mission, and we will have a good start. I believe this will also be a highlight in the spring plowing in northeast China. Thank you. Next question, please. A journalist from the third row on the right side. Thank you. With NTV, we've learned soybean meal price has been on the increase. Many feed companies has increased the prices if the COVID-19 continues to rage across the world and restricts international trade. Will that mount pressure on China's feed supply? I'd like to ask DDG Wei Hongyang to take the question. Thank you for your question. Animal husbandry cannot develop without feed. So we are, as you do, equally concerned about the question. We have been carrying out continual analysis on the situation. There are two kinds of bulk feed. One type is to provide energy. Most is provided by corn, and it is dependent on domestic supply. And the second is soybean meal that has been produced from imported soybeans, which is closely related to the importation of soybean. Friends of the journalists may already know that on April the 14th, on the State Council press conference, the GACC has introduced the data for the first quarter importation, the soybean importation, so by increase of 1.4%. Ministry of Agriculture has been monitoring the soybean meal production. The production was 14 million ton plus, 4 percentage points higher than that of the previous year. We have also monitored the industry production. In the first quarter, 5,000 plus tons, while an increase of 7% and plus. And with the self-produced and processed soybean, if all these data add up, then you can find that the supply and demand of soybean meal has been balanced. The soybean importation has been slightly higher than the importation of soybean meal, or that has been produced, and this is bigger than the number of consumption. According to the information that we know, if we look at the current importation plan, if we do the simple mathematics in the second quarter, still the supply can meet the demand. Starting from the third quarter, we will find certain pressure on the price. At the end of March, per ton of soybean meal has increased by 400 RMB. But when this is compared with the 3,600 RMB per ton that peaked in 2016, the current price is still quite stable. And this month, the price has come back to around 3,200 RMB per ton. So this round of price increase was mainly because of the psychological fear that the pandemic may decrease supply. Actually, the international trade on the soybean meal and the soybean has been stable. Most of the exporting countries have adopted measures to ensure the stable running of the exporting ports. So the stabilization of the soybean meal market will be a win-win situation for all the stakeholders involved. The global soybean supply has been in sufficiency. We've also conducted analysis on demand. The pork production is at a low level. The soybean demand will see some decrease. The demand side will not support the further continual increase of the soybean meal price. Besides, China has sound domestic inventory. The feed manufacturers over the years have accumulated rich experiences, and they can use the protein technology to adjust the use of soybean in the final production. We'll continue to follow the price changes and fluctuation of soybean meal, but we are confident that they can meet the need. Journalist from the second row on the right side, please. National Business Daily. We've learned that COVID-19 has exerted impact on animal husbandry across localities. What is the production of meat, eggs, and dairy as the transportation restrictions have been removed? I'd like to ask DDG Wei to answer the question. Madam Chen has approached the answer to the question from the market perspective, and I'd like to provide an answer from the lens of production. As the prevention control is moving towards the positive, the animal husbandry industry is coming back to the normal as well. In the first quarter, the pork production has seen a positive development. In March, the inventory has seen 28% month-over-month increase. Piglet production saw a 7.3% increase on the second consecutive month, and the pig inventory saw an increase of 36%. The porks ready to be slaughtered saw an increase of 36%. All these changes, when they are reflected in the price for 7 consecutive months, the purchase price of slaughtered pigs have seen a 7 consecutive month decrease. Compared with last month, per kilo was reduced by 6 RMB, 3.7% decrease. We're also concerned about poultry because shortly before there were difficulties in the poultry supply. But if we look at the total picture, in the first quarter there has been some increase of a poultry supply. And in March, the worldwide increase was 2.9%. In the first quarter, the worldwide increase was 4.8%. The ready-to-be culled chicken have seen such increase, among which in March, a worldwide increase of 5% was realized in the culling of chicken. Dairy industry has kept a stable increase. In the first quarter, the inventory of dairy milk saw an increase of 3.4%, which in itself has seen that the quantity and the per capita cow production have both seen increase. And the beef supply has kept a stable increase as well. What has been a very valuable achievement was that even in face of the impact of COVID-19, both the production and the price have been kept stable. The price even decreased. Pork, lamb, beef, and dairy sectors have kept good yields. However, in Hebei province and other provinces, the eggs and the poultry producers didn't yield profits as handsomely as previous years. However, from the hatcheries to the final produce, it may take 72 weeks. So we may see some complementarity in the profits calculation. In March, many of the hatcheries have found they are shifting from losses to profits. So in general, we believe we can achieve the yearly target. We can also achieve the target of ensuring sufficient market supply.
Thank you. Let's continue on the right, on the fourth row, the third gentleman, please. Thank you. With CRI, my question is for DG Liu. Now the schools are opening across the country, and the catering sector is recovering its business. Now we can see a remarkable increase for vegetable demand. Then how about the supply? We will have Madam Liu to take the question. Thank you for your question. To deal with the COVID-19 and ensure the stable production and the supply of the veggie basket project, there's a task force established at the central level. So during the pandemic, the supply of vegetable has been stable and adequate. As you have rightly pointed out, there is some recent growing in terms of demand, but we can ensure the adequate supply out of three reasons. The first is the expanded production. Since February, you can find the steady growth of the vegetable acreage. Now we have more than 17 million acreage of vegetable production, ensuring the adequate supply. And the second is the appropriate temperature and the climate. At the moment, we are enjoying the spring, which is a good season for vegetable production. This week, we can see the remarkable increase of the production, and such growth in production can ensure the adequate supply. And the third reason is the smooth transportation and the delivery of the vegetables. Now the traffic bottlenecks have been well addressed, and the point of sales is recovering its business. So for the next step, we will continue to stabilize the production and the supply and promote the standardization of production and delivery so that we can offer more diversified and high-quality vegetable products to the consumers. Okay, let's continue on the left, on the fourth row. The third lady reporter, please. Thank you. From SciTech Daily. Recently, it is reported that there have been some cases of swine flu. How about the latest situation? Is it possible to have some outbreak in this regard? We will have DG Wei to take the question. Yes, I understand that the swine flu has been a closely watched topic since March. The country altogether reported 13 swine flu cases. 12 were household or cultivated pigs, and one is in the wild. And compared with the figures of last year, we can see that this year's swine flu intensity and damage caused have been reduced greatly. Also, as I have mentioned, we have recovered the production of pig, and our current assessment is that the swine flu can be under control. However, as swine flu used to occur in most of the provinces in China, and also the increasingly frequent transportation of goods and products, we are exposed to more risks. That's why we have been kept alert and conducted in-depth analysis on the existing swine flu outbreaks. We found that most of the outbreaks are results of the malpractices. For example, the cases were the pigs which did not have the ear labels, meaning that they were not under the standardized and highly monitored production. Indeed, these cases occurred in the illegal practices of piglet farming and transportation. So we have adopted 4 major measures. The first is the joint action with public security authorities to investigate into and penalize the illegal practices. We've already kicked off the 60-day special action against such illegal practices. And the second, for the online transaction platform for pigs, once any abnormality was identified, we will look into the case. And thirdly, we've sent inspection teams to the key provinces in the south. The plan is to have 1 month long monitoring and inspection so that the respected stakeholders would be held accountable for their practices. And also, we will work together with the local authorities to address any emerging problems. And the fourth is to investigate into the illegal cases and penalize the criminals. May I take this opportunity and ask for a favor from the media present? We hope to get your support so that by working together, the illegal practices would be punished and the consumers can be protected from the sick pork meat, and we can enjoy good and high-quality meat products. Okay, let's continue. On the left, on the second row, the third lady reporter, please. Thank you. With CCTV News, on behalf of the netizens, I put forward a question. The question is about the slow market and the rising temperature. So many farmers expressed the wish to get support from the government and build some public cold storage facilities. Could you please share with us more details of this project? We will have Madam Chen to take your question. Thank you for your question. The CPC Central Committee has attached great importance to the development of the cold chain and the cold storage facility. Early this year, the government worked out a policy instruction to kick off relevant projects. Indeed, the modern cold chain development is a very important part of modern agriculture, and also to satisfy the growing needs of the general public and facilitate the access to the market by the smallholder farmers. It is also conducive to the building of the new agricultural and the new rural area in China. So this year, we have kicked off the development of the cold chain. In terms of the areas, the key provinces are 16 provinces, including Hebei. In terms of the major players, the government is going to support the farming households or of a particular scale, and also the rural cooperatives. In terms of the priorities, fruits and vegetables are identified as the priorities for this year's cold chain and storage development.
In combination with the farm market approach, we'll also collect information from farm households. We've collaborated with Ministry of Finance and issued some policy notices. Localities are working out their local plans to organize their implementation. Thank you. Next question, please. Journalist from the fourth row on the left side, please. Thank you. With China Education TV, we've noticed that during the COVID-19 response, many choose to purchase agricultural produce from online e-commerce platforms. So many of the social local cadres and the internet celebrities have been promoting the sales of agricultural produce online. What has been the measures adopted by MOA? Inspector Chen Ping will take the question. Recently, a TV MC Zhu Guangquan and internet celebrity Li Jiaqi, which was codenamed as Xiaozhu Peiqi, have been promoting the sales of agricultural produce online. With the development of new forms of retail sales, the online webcast has been a new highlight in the promotion of agricultural produce, making up for the original weaknesses of the selling and distribution of agricultural produce. And this new way of sales have played an important role. During the COVID-19 response, many greenhouses suddenly become the webcast studios. The governors, the mayors, and internet celebrities and TV MCs have been working together on this online webcast, providing new channel of sales to the agricultural produce. Ministry of Agriculture has also organized the Ali, Buy Together, JD.com, Suning, and Yimutian, and other e-commerce players to be engaged in the online sales. Favorable or discounted loans and subsidies to the transportation fees and other initiatives were adopted to facilitate the sales of agricultural produce. As of April the 14th, 796,000 tons and 118 million plus times of transactions were realized online. We've also organized the Sina.com, Weibo, and CCTV, and organized an online webcast. A total sales volume of 100 million yuan was realized. We'll continue to promote the Internet plus agricultural produce, collaborate with e-commerce players, use new technologies and new business formats, and thus providing strong support to the distribution of agricultural produce. Journalist from the third row on the right side, please. With the Xinmin Evening News, China attaches great importance to the grain production. Localities have also adopted measures. However, will there be such local governments in their pursuit of the production number overuse pesticides or chemical fertilizers? DDG Liu Lihua will take the question. Thank you for your question. In the old time, we have been saying that if we want your farming crops to grow really strong, we must use good fertilizers. Frankly speaking, fertilizers play an important role in providing food for 1.4 billion people. However, in the actual production, there has been the overuse, sometimes abuses of fertilizer and pesticides. In 2014, MOA started an initiative of zero increase of fertilizer and chemical pesticides. In 2019, the pesticide and fertilizer use have seen a decrease over the past 3 consecutive years. 39.2% of utilization rate of fertilizer, and in the pesticide, the utilization rate was over 38%. Over the years, we've been persistent with the goal of green development, reduce the use of pesticide and fertilizer while enhancing the efficiency of the outcome. We have, first of all, adopted the guidance notes on the use of fertilizers. We have been intensively promoting the new fertilizer utilization technologies so as to scientifically use fertilizers. And in terms of the pesticide, we have used green prevention of pests in replacement of chemical prevention of pests. We've also set up some pilot counties. The direct service missions have played an important role. For example, recently in wheat production regions, there has been an effort in preventing the stripe rust among wheats. Holistic prevention and control will see a decrease of 20% of pesticide use when compared with the individual household usage of pesticide. Also, in northwest and northern China, we've set up 22 pilot zones by the intensive use of water so as to reduce the water consumption. We've guided the scientific irrigation by the farmers. Many farmers have been looking at their local particularities, and for each moo, they can save water use for 50 cubic meters. Two last questions. Journalist from the fifth row on the left side, please. Thank you. With the Yangtze Daily impacted by COVID-19, some of the local food found it difficult to access market in Hebei province. Just now, Inspector Chen Ping has shared with us some assistance measures. My question is, what is the general production and sales situation of agricultural produce of Hebei province? What will be the supportive measures adopted by Ministry of Agriculture? I'd like to ask Inspector Chen Ping to take the question. Thank you for your concern. Since the outbreak of COVID-19, Ministry of Agriculture paid great attention to the production and sales of agricultural produce from Hebei province, and the firm leadership of the State Council and Party Central Committee. The entire society has been actively. The production and sales of leaf, 71.8% mushroom inventory has saw a decrease. The sales of lobsters have seen an increase, but there is still mounting pressure for the continual sales with the piling up of the inventory. Previously, because of the difficulty in the sales, we've provided favorable policies and allocated a relief fund of 210 million RMB to ensure the smooth distribution of vegetables and other agricultural produce. Many of the agricultural flagship companies have been enlisted to get favorable and discounted loans. 37 flagship agricultural companies from Hebei is now on this list. Second, we tried all the means to expand the sales channels. We've set up 3 video fairs to provide one-on-one support. And previously, we also put up a video campaign, tea leaf, lobsters, and altogether 1,700 tons of agricultural produce, a value of 150 million yuan was signed between Hebei producers and the Guangdong buyers. As of April the 14th, Agriculture Association has accumulatively bought a total value of 170 million yuan of agricultural produce from Hebei. We will shortly host another platform and campaign for the promotion themed as Grateful Hebei, and agricultural produce fairs, aquatic products fairs, and also some of the interviews for lobsters. We welcome friends of the media to participate and cover these upcoming programs. Last question. Journalist from the fifth row on the right side, please. Thank you.
With China Rural Village magazine, we understand that in recent years, the subsidy policy for agricultural machinery has contributed greatly to the agricultural development. And starting from this year, for the first time, several ministries jointly provided compensations and reimbursement for the purchase of agricultural machines. Could you please share us with more details? Thank you. We will have Mr. Wang to take the question. Thank you for your question. Starting from 2014, this policy has supported more than 35 million rural households, buying 45 million agricultural machines. This policy initiative has greatly facilitated the growth of agriculture in China. This year, on February the 25th, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Agriculture, and the Ministry of Commerce jointly circulated the policy guidance. It is stipulated that the central budget will allocate funds to provide financial incentives to individuals and the agricultural organizations for the phase-out of the outdated machines, agricultural machines. Put it in other words, for outdated agricultural machines which are to be phased out, such as the tractors, their phase-out would be reimbursed by the government. This initiative is designed to facilitate the phase-out of such outdated agricultural machines and promote the use of modern, high-quality and green and efficient agricultural machines. By doing so, we wish to promote the transition into the green and modern agricultural practices. Thank you. On today's press conference, our invited speakers have taken questions concerning the spring sowing and agricultural development. For tomorrow's press conference, we will continue to have the topic on the prevention of the potential overseas importation of the pandemic. We will have experts and officials from the NHC, the General Administration of Customs, and etc. to come to the press conference. That's all for today. Thank you.